So I think this might be the second podcast where I feel like you're attacking me.
Oh, no. No, Ralph.
Which is so unfortunate because trust me, and this is something that I'm struggling with. It's actually weird that we're kind of having this conversation today because this morning I texted mom. You know, Mama T.
I love Mama T.
She's religious. Everything in her own right. And out of nowhere, I've been having a rough couple weeks. So just business wise, is trying to find a way to get new clients, so on and so forth. And she reached out, was like, "Hey, so what can I do for you?" I was like, "I don't know, just pray. Just pray for me. It just that I can find for the guidance because I truly don't know." And even like saying that, I was like, well, I should know. I do know. I'm not. So I challenged it. And then all of a sudden we have this conversation about ego. And I'm like, man, you got to leave the ego at the front door. It's a hard thing to do. No one likes being proven wrong. Everybody wants to be right. And then I'm one of those people that will defend that I'm right. We've spoken about this. I'll defend that I'm right. Dude, we can talk about the sky being blue. And if I truly believe that the sky isn't blue and it's gray or whatever it is, I will. My sword's in the stone. I'm dying on that hill. And I know that's a flaw. I'm not sitting here promoting it. I'm not sitting here saying, yay, Ralph. No, like that's a flaw that I'm working on. So it's also just kind of weird how we're talking about the dangers of ego and how that portrays. And I'm currently going through it. And I'm trying to break that mold because it's true.
Yeah.
One thing you said in there, and I hope I wrote it down correctly, and I wanted to expand on it. And I have a feeling I didn't write it down correctly, but the quote you said was, confidence is arrogance with ego.
Confidence becomes arrogance.
With
confidence
ego.
Becomes arrogance with an ego.
Two things. One, wow, right? Because that's a hard hitting. I think that's a hard hitting quote.
Sentence. Yep.
But I kind of want to jump in and dive in on that a little bit. So, because I think it's very hard to distinct, right? If you're confident, naturally you would have that ego because you're. I mean, genuinely, this is coming from someone that knows he has an ego problem. So when you're confident in something, when you know that you're really good at it, that ego is just something that comes off. I feel like sometimes when I try to go through certain things, whether it be a process for, whether it be sales, whether it be this, whether it be that, like whatever process it is, because I feel like I'm genuinely good at it. It's very difficult to disconnect that ego because it's something that naturally gets built into it. How do you go about it without letting the ego boost your, I wouldn't say self-esteem, but get in your own head, right? Like I'm the man. Like if you close $100,000 deal, it's very hard to sit there and be like, yeah, you're not the man. Because it's like, no, I am the man. I just, you know what I mean? Like when you're closing things like that and doing things, it gets in your own head. So I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you, but it's in that regard because it's like, yeah, how do you separate that ego and just take it for what it's worth and just continue going about your day without really necessarily like blowing up your own head, I guess.
So ego it's an attitude. It's something you're projecting on the outside. You with me on that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right. Ego is something you're projecting to the world around you. Right. So it's on the outside. If I, well, put it like this, if I have value and wealth and gold and on the inside of me, and I know it's there, do I feel the need to project it on the outside? In other words, if it's on the inside, does it need to be on the outside?
I don't know. I don't know. Genuinely, I see what you're saying. I don't know. For me, right? Like I'm not a flashy, right? Like I'm not a flashy person. I'm not someone that does that. But I'm one of those people that's like, yeah, if I did this, I almost want to show it off, but I don't think I'm showing it off to other people. It's something that it's like, because I did this, this is the reward of my hard work and the reward from my success. Right. But then I can also see why that'd be like, this guy has an ego problem. Cause it's like, what are you doing? Right. Like it doesn't matter. Today's a new day. It's in the book Shoe Dog at the end when Nike goes public and he's like, I looked out the window and it's just a regular old day, but somehow he's worth like $300 million. And he's just like, and it's raining, like nothing's changed. It's just, that's what changed. So, but that level, like, I'm going to ask you, do you think it's warranted? Like, I would feel like that's deserving. You putting all that work, like that's a deserving feeling at some point, not to keep it forever, but like,
sure.
Yeah, I did this. This is me. I would like the recognition for it because I worked my butt off for it and I did what I had to do. You see what I mean?
I'm with you, but I can tell you, like, I can't remember the ski races I won when I was 15 years old. Don't remember the single thing about the day. I'm sure in the day I felt really good. So if we have our self-esteem and self-worth rooted in our daily accomplishments, you're on a losing path. So yeah, it's great to celebrate a win. That's why they give away trophies. They put you up on the podium, they take pictures of you, and you celebrate the moment. But yesterday's wins don't count towards tomorrow's wins. It's just that simple. And at the end of a ski race, if I start rubbing it into my competitor's face, I'm just motivating to try to beat me harder. So I learned early on, when you win, get very quiet, because you don't want to put any more fire on them. You know, I'd rather be humble and go, man, guys, I had such a lucky day today. Oh my gosh.
You don't want to give, see, I don't know. It's one thing I'm going to clash with you. Me, it's like, I wouldn't take, I love that competition. That's what fuels me. So like, if I won, it's not like I would rub it in their face, but the idea of like, work harder, because that's going to get me to work harder so that you don't beat me in the future. You see what I'm saying? So
I think the difference here has to do. So Mama T did this with Natalie the other day. So Natalie, she's watching Natalie, right? And she wanted to have Natalie watch TV for a little bit, so to free her and Mom and I up for a minute. And instead of saying, Natalie, come over here and watch TV, she goes, I'm gonna turn something on TV and I'm gonna turn the news on. I'm gonna watch that now. And Natalie goes, no, you're not. I'm watching Ryan's World. That's what I'm doing that. So in a sense, she didn't give her exactly what she wanted, and then she goes, no, I want this. So now the ski race is done, or the business deal is closed. You're feeling really good. What will make you feel even better is people praising you, going, great job, Ralph. That's what you want. That's what the ego wants, right?
Yeah, feed the ego.
But if the ego says it directly, please tell me how awesome I am. Because if the ego were to speak honestly, that's what it would say. And no one would say that. No one would say, please tell me how great I am. Look what I just accomplished. Look at this. Aren't I awesome? No one would be that blunt forward. They would do it in a casual, nonchalant way to make them feel good, so to give a hint to the person. Instead of doing that, you say, oh my gosh, it was, I worked hard for this. But I got to admit, there was a lot of things that lined up for that to happen. Now they're going to go, no, Ralph, oh my God, you killed it on this. And now all of a sudden your ego is being fed, but you're not egotistic to the world.
Yeah, you don't look like a jerk.
You're a performer, not a reporter, always. And I always say, after a win, get back to work, because your competitors are. And a lot of times the egoists will go, I've won, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. And then they never accomplish anything else. Because once you've arrived, you'll never do anything else, because it's over now. The key is to never arrive. And that's it. Walt Disney has a great quote on this. He goes, Disney World will always expand. It'll never be complete. Never. And that's the truth. It always expands, always gets better. Blue Ridge will never be over. It'll always get better.
It's the infinite game, right?
Right. And that's the key to the whole thing. To know that you're never going to arrive to an endpoint, but I'm going to strive for perfection along the way. And along the way, the more you know you should be humble and kind. And whatever success you have, it's momentary. It's a blink. It's a flash. It's a vapor. Think of the distance of your life versus the entire world versus the history of time. It's nothing. So whatever accomplishments we have right now, that where our ego is going, man, you are the best in the world, and let's go and tell the world how great we are. I promise you, in 10 years from now, no one's even know what happened. So why take that and basically hurt the people around you with your accomplishments through an ego?
Damn, you floored me, right? Like because it's so true. And that's because it's something that I would say I struggle with. And I'm sure that
I think everyone does.
Everybody does.
Yeah, everyone does.
It's almost like that idea. It's like, and it's cool hearing it from you, because I consider you incredibly successful. We've known each other for a very long time. I consider you so it's hearing it from someone that has performed at the highest of all high levels, that have done all this stuff. And then to say like, yeah, like, I don't have an ego. It's like you should be where I come from. It's in my head. It's like, yeah, that would warrant an ego, but it's like, no, you shouldn't. And I think that's where the difference comes in. And that's the switch I need to attempt to make. And maybe that's what's holding me back. Does that make sense?
I tell you, whatever it is right now, whatever challenge you're up against, solve that challenge. Just solve that single one, and then you'll move on to the next one. It really is that simple. Because if you're looking and going, I'm going to solve all the challenges out in my future forever right now, no one can do that. Like it's challenging enough to be successful one day at a time. Some people try to be successful 5 days at a time or 20 years at a time. Just live today and do the very best you can with today, solving all the problems that you have in your life today. What can I do today to make my life better tomorrow? And if we do that, it's that incremental thing, where it builds. And that's the key to the whole darn thing. The wine industry is the best example of this, because like when you plant vines, you don't plant one, you plant thousands and thousands. So it's that repetitive motion. You know, when you make a bottle of wine, it takes 500 grapes. You don't squeeze one and get a bottle. You got to squeeze this one, get a couple drips, that one, get a couple drips, and it builds into a bottle. The bottle can build into a business. The business can build into something can influence the world in a positive way. But it starts with squeezing one little grape, which is, you know, I mean, it's just,
Damn.
It's the whole element of it. This is, it's kind of funny to think about it.
It is. It's when you think
Right.
about it. It's like
Right.
what one grape could do.
Right.
Right. The grape impacts the world. That's the idea.
Yeah. But, you know,
Wow.
I'd say that the person with the ego their life is over. They have stopped themselves because they'll never be willing to accomplish anything greater than what they've already done. Because if they attempt it and they fail, now what I've done in the past is erased. The ego stops success. Ego is the enemy once you've achieved success. Because if you don't kill that, you'll never do anything else. It won't allow you to. You're too busy protecting it. Because I'm going to lead on the success I got. And this is why you'll hear people talk about the football game they won in high school.
Yeah.
And they'll never play another game in their life.
Or the film award they won from a film from 3 years ago.
Right, it's too risky. I would say, how does it all go? You know, you can only hit home runs, you swing the bat, all that type of stuff. And that speaks to the ego. The person that had the home run record, don't play next year. You already have the record. And they wouldn't. They're too busy. They're going to protect the ego. What if I strike out? They would think, what a loser now. You're washed up.
Damn.
The ego is the enemy, though. When it
Yeah.
comes to success, the moment you have success, get back to work because everyone else is trying to beat you even more now.
Confidence becomes arrogance with an ego.
Great stuff.